Hallo zusammen, ganz herzlichen Dank, dass ihr beim dritten Mal dabei seid bei unserem Mittagsimpuls. Dieser Mittagsimpuls senden wir direkt aus der Ukraine. Wir sitzen hier in der Ukraine in Lviv. Und warum sitzen wir hier? Hier in diesem Moment, wir sind im Hotel Ramadan, in diesem Moment ist der größte Kongress der pädiatrischen Spezialisten am Laufen. Er hat gestartet heute und will enden am Samstagabend. Anwesend in diesem Hotel, in diesem Kongresshotel, sind 1000 Pädiater aus der Ukraine. Und ich habe mir gefunden, es sei eine große Möglichkeit, mit Marina zu reden. Marina sitzt neben mir. Sie ist Professorin in Pädiatrie. Sie ist die Präsidentin der Ukraine, der Prime Pediatrics. Prime Pediatrics ist in der Ukraine die Organisation, wo alle pädiatrischen Spezialisten unter einem Dach sind. Und ich habe mir erlaubt, sie deshalb zu fragen, ob sie uns ein wenig erzählen kann, wie es im Augenblick den Kindern in der Ukraine geht und den Familien, aber auch den Pädiatern, die hier so zahlreich anwesend sind. Nochmal zu sagen, es sind 1000 Pädiater hier und 2000 Pädiater sind online aufgeschaltet und hören diesen großen Kongress. Ich werde jetzt auf Englisch überswitchen, because Marina is speaking English. I hope that's not a big problem, but I know you are speaking well English. So we start straight away, and I'm so happy to have just next to me Marina Mamenko. I know Marina since the beginning of this awful war because we are working together to help the Ukraine healthcare system with our task force, the Swiss Taskforce for helping Ukraine healthcare, and we have achieved already that we can transport more than 500 tons of medical material. I will go tomorrow afternoon to one of the hospitals to bring to them from Switzerland 20 ventilators to the units. But that's not the topic. The topic is actually the topic, how are the children and the pediatrician and the families are going in Ukraine. And I give now the stage to Marina, but before I give the stage to Marina, I will then open up the PowerPoint and Marina will show you some very important and very sometimes heart-touchy slides. So Marina, welcome to have you on Congress. Yeah.
Hello, friends. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Okay. Should we start with the presentation?
For sure.
Okay,
We'll try.
So we start with the presentation and I will share now the presentation. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, it works.
I'm so glad to have Evelyn with me because she is the communication person from our alumni organization Basel in Switzerland. So Marina, the stage is yours.
Make this by myself.
Yeah, you can even only do. Next slide, yeah. Okay, Marina is talking about children's health in Ukraine from survival to the future of the nation.
Dear colleagues, dear friends, I will come back to the first slide. First of all, I wanted to apologize. My English is also not so perfect. And when I'm excited, and I always excited speaking about children in Ukraine nowadays, you understand why. Sometimes it's difficult for me to find correct words, probably. But when I had experience just to write everything I want to tell you, it's not good result, as it's impossible to transfer emotions when you read just words you prepared before. And we have really a lot of emotions. All photos in my presentation are real. You will not see too much, I promise you. But this one is a real girl which was wounded to the first day of our full-scale invasion from Russia. And 1 year later, it was Boston Marathon. She was prepared and she really ran this marathon. It's very symbolic for Ukraine, for our children, for our situation. I'm full professor of pediatrics, and now I'm president of Ukrainian Academy of Pediatric Specialties. It's a big association which unites not only primary care specialists but subspecialists, their association too. And Prime Pediatrics is our big congress which unites different specialties in pediatrics all together to communicate to each other. And nowadays it's very important for us as it's not only about pediatrics or science. It's about our feeling to be together. As you remember well, the time of pandemic when we were separated and saw each other only distantly. Nowadays, we have the same situation in Ukraine. It's problematic to see each other in real time, and once per year we gather together in the more or less safe place in Ukraine. We thought so for a long time. It's our fourth Congress during the war here in this hotel. This time it's not 100% safe, so I even asked our moderators and speakers not to invite foreign guests as I am afraid about them. But Conrad and Beatrice for several years, Conrad here for the third time, it seems to me. Bear for the first time this year, but still they said that they want to come as we live here and they don't afraid. And we are happy to have these guests with us. I want to show you some scare stats which demonstrate our real situation. I am sure a lot of you saw Ukrainian children in kindergartens, schools, everywhere in different countries. We have no real stats as all the time families moving. When situation in Ukraine more or less normal, they come back. When again huge rocket attacks, for example, just now to Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipro, Odessa, and we have summer, so families take their bags and again move to different countries. But stats of UNICEF says that more than 2.5 million of Ukrainian children now displaced. Some of them are abroad, some of them internally displaced children. In any case, it's a big tragedy to lose your house, your friends, your school, even your village or your town or big city. As a lot of them in occupied territory now simply do not exist anymore. They totally destroyed, and children have no chance to see their birthplace, or sometimes it's tragedy for them even to lose their favorite choice. You understand why it's really so. We have demographic crisis, it accelerated by the war, and now birth rate comparing to 2021 before school full-scale invasion decreased dramatically. Minus 38% about speaking about numbers of births. And a lot of children abroad, decreasing number of births, and we understand that if families adjusted for living abroad for this long time, probably they will never come back, and we understand it also well. It's really a problem for pediatricians too. but not only this one. We have direct war-related harm to children. When I was in Basel, half of a year, Connie invited me to the ceremony of awarding St. Palemon's award to him and to the team. I'm the member of the team. Due to Connie, I have also this award. I demonstrated just the same slide, but figures were not so huge. You see 705 deaths among children. It's only officially confirmed in non-occupied part of Ukraine. We will never know, and it's an official governmental website, and you see it is impossible to establish the exact number of injured children due to active hostilities and the temporary occupation of part of Ukrainian territory. It's just aside from this website. But in truth, we will never know. For example, tragedy in Mariupol, they never will say us the real number of children deaths, but estimated stats says that it can be several thousands and probably more than 10,000 of only deaths from children. It's a really great tragedy, but everyday figures change. This one slide was made on the 26th of May, but today's stats, I just checked before this conversation, 707 and plus 12 wounded children, only for several days. Stats changes every day. You understand why. Not only deaths, wounded children, missing children, deported children, sexually abused children. We have as pediatricians very specific experience. Our system of healthcare for children wasn't perfect even before the war. You see this systematic review which was published in first days of our war. It was analysis of publications in different sources about problems in our children before the war. We are not a well-developed country of Europe, you know, we only want to be and to join international community. But nowadays we have specific risks and they're really very horrible for us. One more real picture which made from young gymnastic. Her name is Sasha. She also lost her leg, but still she even participated in competitions. A lot of video we can find in social media about this history. It's just a symbol of childhood in Ukraine, because when we speak about trauma, mental health, disruption of chronic diseases management, vaccination gaps, different neonatal and perinatal risks, we have to understand how important for these children is just to live after this trauma. It's not only about physical rehabilitation, it's psychological, it's understanding that you have future. For many, many years, she will live without her leg. And this period is extremely important for the family, for Sasha. And we have thousands of such children. The problems of rehabilitation, they are growing. They have to change artificial legs, hands every time while growing to adjust to new prostheses. And this is a reality which will be with us many years after our war finished. It's also real photography from our main hospital, Children's Hospital in Kiev, at the first days of the war. The hospital worked for Kiev and the region, both for children and adults, it's not a shelter, it's not the real shelter, as no one in Ukraine was expected to have such situation. We were unprepared totally. But I cannot say that we are prepared now. Those of you who know medicine and the specific of hospitals, you understand well that if you have not just the building, underground building for hospital, how can you imagine with transportation with those people who are in emergency care departments to the shelters 5 times per day, 7 times per day, 10 times per day, speaking about our alarms. And if you have no special departments in underground shelters, you cannot manage to keep these patients all the time here in such conditions. It became better in some regions, but still it's dangerous to be a doctor, as you can make surgery and at that time rocket can come. This is photos of just our main hospital of Medit in Kiev 2 years ago. A Russian missile came and you can compare at the top of our slide buildings after destroying and before. We were trying to make our main children's hospital up to the international level of medical care for children. The walls at the bottom of the slide, it's Kherson. It's just a reality of every day with shelters. Sometimes it's surprising, but we have no news every day from Kherson. Just before it's kind of normal life. They have shelters from the Russia who says that Kherson is a Russian city. Simply every minute, and sometimes it came just to surgery rooms at the time of surgery. We have demographic paradox, which will continue in future. We have decreasing number of children in Ukraine, but all of them need much more healthcare. Speaking about rehabilitation, mental health, trauma care, chronic condition, about everything. We have also some problems with trends in our pediatric community. A lot of doctors, when abroad too, especially from destroyed or occupied cities and towns, and probably will continue their professional work abroad. A lot of doctors nowadays don't choose pediatrics, as we have decreasing number of children, and this subspecialty nowadays is not so, seems not to be so necessary for the country. But it's a big gap in future. In reality, we still expect that one day the war will stop and we will have generation of new Ukrainians, and they will need our hands, our heads, everything, speaking about pediatrics. Still, and our Congress is just the example, we are trying to live normal life. We still have continuous medical education. It never stopped. Some years at the beginning it was mostly online, but from time to time we make it in person. It's medicine, it's impossible to be online all the time. We succeeded to improve vaccination coverage. Probably it's surprising, but you helped us. I mean that we had strong impact of Russian sources on the mentality of our population. And I'm sure doctors know well that the most anti-vaccinating websites come from Russian internet in Russian. Now they are blocked. And a lot of families were in Europe, in Canada, in the United States, and now they better understand that vaccination is necessary for normal life. We introduced just this year HPV vaccination. It's surprising at the time of the war, but we have a new program speaking about oncology. As we have increasing number of cases of oncology in adults, so due to this, we received money for this kind of vaccination, but we still have no pneumococcal vaccination. It's a routine in many countries, but still a problem for Ukraine. We only hope to introduce it into our children. We had to adjust to the problems with electricity. Speaking about cold chain also, when we transport vaccines to the regions which are so close to the battlefield, we have to adapt to prolonged infrastructure instability. Speaking about this winter when we had 22 minus outdoors and no heating and electricity inside. We have to have generators and different devices to stop not only working but living. It's really problematic, especially for children and elderly people. But yes, we learned a lot about resiliency these years living in extreme conditions. But we need you. And all efforts of Connie, seems to me it's not about only Ukraine and Ukrainian children, Connie and his team, but about well understanding that Ukrainian children is also the future of Europe too. These young singers were at the Basel meeting while ceremony of awarding last autumn. Children who live in Switzerland and study in schools with Swiss children, you know, we have special displayed children. They are not look like migrants. A lot of them look like Europeans, and they integrate quickly. So yes, we became a part of Europe, probably not officially speaking about European Union, but in reality, some stats says that every 10th European nowadays is Ukrainian. Probably it's a joke, but it's a sad part of reality. So we need your solidarity support. One more real photo from our Ahmadid. We have photos even with a child of the first year of life who has no legs or hands, but yes, we are trying to make normal life for them too. Thank you for your solidarity, support, being with us, and hope one day we will forget about this history, but not soon for sure.
Thank you, Marina, for this very heartbreaking, sometimes heartbreaking talk. I have forgotten on the beginning, you can ask Marina some questions. Clear, you can do it over chat. Please do it, because we have still 20 minutes to discuss things who perhaps you want to know from a person who, I think there are not a lot of people who knows the healthcare system for children so good like Marina. And please feel free and put your questions in the chat. Evelyn, we have already some questions in the chat.
Ich sehe noch keine. 1 second. There's so far no questions, but I think they're going to come in soon.
Yeah. Should I start then with a question? Okay. Also, it's so amazing. We wanted actually to start to show you a little bit with a film how these pediatricians are feeling at this Congress. And perhaps you know I'm a pediatric surgeon and I've been on many congresses on this world. But this Congress is all the time special because you feel this together. you feel these brothers in arms. Everybody is telling you, if you ask them, how was the last week? Then they will tell you, we were not sleeping. They show you quick some pictures on the smartphone, how it was when the Kingshall was actually hitting the house, the neighboring house. And you hear the stories one of the other, but 5 minutes later, you're together and you're laughing and you have fun and you talk about medicine and how to can improve the medicine. This is incredible. And so my first question is actually to you, how you can organize a big congress like this, because not all of you have been on medical congress, because a medical congress with more than 3,000 people who are joining, that's a big number, because congress in Switzerland, if they have 500, they are already big. And how you organize this? This is not so easy. And then the problem is, you're clear, you need to have shelters and things like this. But Marina, tell us.
It's really problematic. COVID-19 was a very specific school of being in contact distantly for all countries, and it was very important for us too. When the war started, we decided that we will never need congresses, conferences, concerts, probably, even music. I remember very well, it was about 10 days after the war began. It was first time to hear music in the radio. As before, we only discussed news from battlefield, nothing more. But time passed, and you understand that conversation, studying, living in normal mood is a necessary condition to survive. And about 2 months later, it was April 2022, I saw communication online about missing of professional conversation in our doctors. And I asked our PCO, can we manage to make a conference online? It was in our schedule for sure, but it seemed impossible at the beginning of the war. We received 2 grants from European Academy of Pediatrics and the International Pediatric Association. We said to our doctors, made announce online that we can gather all together in June online only. It was 2022. And we will not take any registration fee, which is typical for medical congresses, as we have 2 grants. But you can donate. And activity of our audience was so high that we received more than 7,000 of registration. For sure, it was not only children's doctors, adults too, as everyone wanted to communicate. We changed program. We put a lot of new topics, managing of trauma in children, mental health, different of which concern what to do with vaccination in this condition. So we spoke about children under the war. But 1 year later, we decided to move to the more the safe part of Ukraine and to start conversation in person. And we understood how important it for doctors, nurses, subspecialists. So we do it regularly every year nowadays. But we still have even small schools, mostly online. Some of them can be in person, when we speak, for example, only about nutrition, only about gastroenterology, neurology, and such congresses, we collect all topics all together.
There's already the next question from Nicolas Felber. He asks you, as we have multiple members of Doctors Association in the Zoom, what measures have Ukraine Doctors Association taken to support their members during the conflict, both from an administrative as well as a psychological perspective?
Oh, yeah. We have, thank you so much for the questions. Even such conversation is just psychological help to our doctors, Connie, so that it's a reality while they communicate each other. At the Congress. But we have even chats where when key question when you are under danger every day, how are you? Very simple. And after some specific night, bombing, drones, rockets, you come into the group and ask, dear friends, are you alive? Is everything okay with you and your houses? If something happened, we collect money, we send support even in such case. We have a very specific, very mobile assistance from our banks. You can make special account to gather money to help your colleagues even in, I know, 5-10 minutes online, it's possible. And we collect money, send money. If we speak about hospitals, it's also a tragedy for all our colleagues, for example, Ohmadit, we have a lot of them. To be true, we support them the whole way of reconstruction, even making photos, films, and sharing with our friends from different associations. I'm national representative at the European Academy of Pediatrics. I have contacts with all our associations. European Academy of Pediatrics gathered money for our doctors, and we provide them CME even abroad. For example, this year we brought due to grants of our international colleagues, 29 young doctors to the Congress of European Academy of Pediatrics to Warsaw. Sometimes we ask about discounts for association of different subspecialists for different European Congress, give grants for travel grants for our internal Congress or for congresses abroad. So we are trying to manage in a very specific way, but it's the way for association.
Also, Marina was talking about Ohmadit. Perhaps not everybody knows Ohmadit is the largest children's hospital in the Ukraine, and it has more than 700 beds for children. It has all specialities. It's really one of the largest pediatric hospitals in Europe. And it was bombarded on the 8th of July in 2024. And why I ask Marina, because Marina is actually in the team who has rebuilt the hospital. Where are you now? Is this hospital still working again, or?
Yeah, it's working from the first day, Connie. This hospital is so big that it has several buildings, and two of them were destroyed, one totally, one partly, the newest and the biggest one, and one more is now not it was not directly damaged, but the wave after bombing destroyed a lot of communication inside of this building. A lot of humanitarian resources gathered money inside country and abroad to reconstruct this building. The task was really very difficult, and at that time we limited hospitalization, but still hospital worked and found some places in other hospitals for several months while making just as first aid for this hospital. And now we finished with the reconstruction of the main building. And the hospital almost totally came back to the condition in this part as it was before the war. The only shortage is that we cannot take so much children to it, but all departments came back. Except it seems to me bone transplant or others came back to the hospital.
Also, this you can imagine in this war situation to rebuild a hospital who was full functioning.
Yeah. And to think every day about the next rocket of our neighbors too. When you put a lot of resources in rebuilding, it's not only about Ohmedit. In any hospital, in any building, you don't understand what will be tomorrow, but you still have to do this. You cannot just wait when the war will stop.
Also, at this time, we took some children even to Switzerland, to Austria, and to Germany. There were children, you can imagine, they had just the day one for the treatment against leukemia. And these children, they were coming, some of them came to Basel, to the Children's Hospital, some to Aarau, some came to Austria, and some to Germany. I think there were about 25 children who actually had to be transported in the next few days after this bombardment because they had just started the treatment about any cancer. And you can imagine this logistic problem in this nightmare situation, and you have done it really great.
Days were very important, and a lot of children were transported to our friends abroad. It was really very important. You have to reconstruct even logistics just to understand what to do. First, you come back to treating children.
And there's another question, what options are there for us to support from a distance?
Everything is supportive. Your participation in our meeting too.
Also, I think one thing we remarked is actually that the people are so happy to see us when we come from Europe, even if you are only online, because they don't want to be lost. And for us, they are our colleagues, and we don't want to have them lost.
You know, when you live under special conditions, as now in Ukraine, I mean, when you live inside of the war, sometimes you feel as everyone outside forgot about you. Very often I see such posts in social media that people write that Europe forgot about us, everyone abroad forgot about us, they don't think about Ukraine. But when I'm in contact with my European colleagues, with you, with members of European Academy of Pediatrics, every time I come back and to make big post in social media, please, with different photos, words, assistance of my colleague, just to say no. Our colleagues abroad don't know how to help us to stop the war, but they feel a lot about our tragedy. I receive a lot of messages after some bombing of Kiev. How are you from our foreign colleagues? It's really necessary for us even to know that that people abroad, not only colleagues, all people abroad, don't forget about big country, Ukraine, in Europe, which suffers from war for several years.
I have another question. I remarked this because when I talk to the doctors who come from Kharkiv or even from Kherson, they say to us, we like to come to Lviv for this Congress, but we don't like to come because we have the family at home and we feel not secure if we have to come here, what's happening to the family. And how you can manage that the people are coming in this situation because they fear that something happened to the family and they are not there.
I also afraid about my family. I think about them every time when I am not at home, but still I go abroad frequently. every time when I'm invited to speak about children. It's necessary to do. It's necessary to continue your life. So they make choice. They understand. They will be anxious about their families at home. But still, it's their work and life, and the work cannot stop, put on pause your life and professional life too. You have to study all the life. If you are a doctor, you have to study, and we give such possibility for that.
I'm looking at the time and I say thank you very much that you were joining us on the third Mittagsimpuls. We will continue, sure, with the Mittagsimpuls, but a great thank you is going to Marina Mamenko, and a great thank you is going to all the pediatricians in the Ukraine who are doing in this hard time an incredible job. And Marina has to leave because the Congress is still running. We will have the inauguration party this evening, and this is so amazing. And we are so happy to have you here because this gives a little bit of resilience to these people in this war situation.
Thank you for the invitation, Connie. Dear colleagues, thank you for your attention, for your feelings, for your support, for everything.
So now I wish you good appetite for the ones they had not yet eaten, and we will see each other after summertime with a new Mittagsimpuls with a special program and a special invited. And I thank yous to Evelyn, who actually organized it from the Swiss side. But I have to say thank you as well to the technicians here, to Alex, who gave me a hand that this is working so smoothly. This is not so easy from Ukraine because sometimes you have a Wi-Fi problem and everything like this. So we were lucky it was working very fine. So thank you very much and have a nice afternoon and see you after summertime. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye bye.